So once we're done painting our geodes, we're going to be adding some contrast to our artwork using some black and white Zentangle patterns in the background or the empty white space of your painting. Now, when you are adding these shapes into the background of your painting, I want you to keep in mind two things. Okay, the first is that all of these shapes that I have drawn are organic shapes. They're all oddly shaped. None of them have straight edges, really. So you're going to be drawing organic shapes in your background, and those shapes are what we're going to fill up with those Zentangle patterns. The second thing that I want you to keep in mind is that I want for you to use a variety of sizes. So some of my shapes, like this one, is pretty big. This one is pretty big. There's some other ones that are pretty big, and then I have some medium-sized shapes, some smaller shapes, and then I even have some that are pretty teeny tiny small. So when you are adding your shapes, they're going to be organic shapes, and we want to have a variety of sizes. So let's pretend like this is my geode painting, and each of these colorful construction papers are my geodes. So I'm going to fill in all of this white space around the geodes with those organic shapes. So we're not going to be working on any patterns yet. We're just going to be drawing the shapes that fill in the background. And how you can start is you can pick anywhere on your paper. And like I said, we're drawing organic shapes and we're using variety of sizes. So I might start here, and I'm gonna do maybe a big, medium-ish, large one. Okay, now it gets close to my geodes, okay, but it does not ever touch the geodes. We're gonna leave a little space in between. And then it's got these round organic shape edges. Now, we talked about how both of these shapes are organic shapes because they don't have straight edges and they're very free form, but one looks more like a rock and one looks more like a blobby kind of shape. Now, since we did the geodes with the nice rock kind of shaped organic shapes, we're going to stick to those in our background. So your background shapes should also not be so wild and crazy. They should really kind of fit around each other, like I'll show you in the rest of this video. Now, once you draw the first one, you can kind of start stemming off from the first one. And again, we have a little space in between each one. So you can kind of see here that there's these spaces in between, but they all kind of fit together sort of like a puzzle. I'm going to make sure I keep, like I said, a variety of sizes in mind. So in this case, I might do one that is a little smaller in that empty space. I'm kind of going around the shapes of my geodes, again, not touching them and leaving a space in between all the shapes and all the geodes. So I'm going to fill up the rest of my paper. Now, depending on how big your geodes are and how many geodes you have painted, you might have more space in your background or less space than me. You're going to be doing that for your individual piece. So now that I have the organic shapes filling up my background space, I kept in mind that I wanted to use a variety of sizes. So I have some that are really big, some that are medium, and then some that are small. I am going to now look at adding in my Zentangle patterns to each one of my shapes.